In the aftermath of their victory over the Shadow Weaver, the crew of the Stellar Phoenix found themselves in the serene embrace of the Whispering Woods. The once withered trees were regaining their vibrancy, and the forest creatures were returning to their homes. Ilara, the leader of the crew, stood at the edge of the woods, her eyes scanning the horizon. She couldn't shake the feeling that their journey was far from over. As they prepared to take off, Linder, a wise old owl, perched on a nearby branch. His eyes gleamed with ancient knowledge as he spoke to Ilara. "The asteroid field that caused your crash was not a natural occurrence," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "It is debris from an abandoned asteroid mine on a nearby planet. Investigate, and you shall uncover a truth that has long been hidden." Ilara's heart raced with a mix of excitement and apprehension. She knew that their next mission would be fraught with danger, but she also knew that her crew was more than capable of facing whatever challenges lay ahead. With a determined nod, she turned to her crew and relayed Linder's message. The Stellar Phoenix soared through the cosmos, its engines humming softly as Mia, the skilled pilot, navigated the dense asteroid field. The debris was thick, and the scanners picked up strange readings that piqued Zara's curiosity. The scientist analyzed the data, her eyes widening as she realized the implications of their findings. "These readings are residual energy signatures," Zarek explained, her voice filled with awe. "Someone's been here recently, and they've left behind a trail that we can follow." Ilara's mind raced with possibilities. Who could have been mining in such a dangerous location, and why had they abandoned it? She knew that they would have to tread carefully, as the answers to their questions could have far-reaching consequences. The crew landed on a large asteroid and entered the abandoned mine. The walls were lined with old mining equipment and flickering lights, casting eerie shadows that danced across the cold metal surfaces. Lila, the brilliant engineer, examined a piece of equipment, her brow furrowed in concentration. "This tech is advanced, but it's been left to rot," she said, her voice tinged with anger. "Something's not right here." Eva, the charismatic diplomat, noticed a symbol etched into the wall. Her eyes narrowed as she recognized the emblem of GalactiCorp, one of the biggest mining corporations in the galaxy. She knew that their reputation for cutting corners and exploiting resources was well deserved, and she was determined to hold them accountable for their actions. The crew made their way to the control room, where Zara hacked into the old computer systems. Her fingers danced across the keyboard as she navigated the outdated interface, her eyes scanning the data that flashed across the screen. "I'm in," she announced, her voice filled with triumph. "It looks like GalactiCorp was mining a rare and highly valuable mineral here, but they abandoned the mine when the yield dropped, leaving behind a trail of destruction and debris." Delilah's anger boiled over as she realized the extent of the corporation's negligence. "They left all this debris floating in space, endangering anyone who comes near," she said, her voice shaking with rage. "We can't let them get away with this." Ilara nodded in agreement, her resolve strengthening with each passing moment. She knew that they had to expose GalactiCorp's actions and hold them accountable for the damage they had caused. Back on the Stellar Phoenix, the crew gathered on the bridge to discuss their next move. The stars shone brightly through the windows, a reminder of the vast and unpredictable nature of the cosmos. Ilara addressed her crew, her voice filled with determination. "We've uncovered a conspiracy, and it's our duty to expose it," she said, her eyes scanning the faces of her crew. "GalactiCorp needs to be held accountable for their actions, and we're the ones who can make that happen." Lila nodded, her anger fueling her resolve. "We'll fix what they broke and make sure they can't do it again," she said, her voice filled with conviction. Zara's mind raced with possibilities as she considered the valuable mineral that GalactiCorp had been mining. "And maybe we'll find a way to use that mineral for good," she said, her voice filled with hope. Mia's eyes sparkled with excitement as she thought about the challenges that lay ahead. "I'm ready for whatever comes next," she said, her voice filled with enthusiasm. Eva smiled, her charisma radiating through the room. "Together, we can make a difference," she said, her voice filled with confidence. "Let's do this." The crew of the Stellar Phoenix set a course for GalactiCorp's headquarters, determined to confront the corporation and demand answers. As they approached the massive space station, they were met with a barrage of security measures designed to keep unwanted visitors at bay. Mia's skills as a pilot were put to the test as she navigated the ship through a maze of defense systems, her reflexes sharp and her focus unwavering. Leela worked tirelessly to keep the ship's systems running smoothly, her hands moving with precision as she made adjustments and repairs on the fly. Zara's mind was a whirlwind of calculations and strategies as she analyzed the data streaming in from the ship's sensors. She knew that they would have to be one step ahead of GalactiCorp if they were to succeed in their mission. Eva's charisma and diplomatic skills were put to the test as she negotiated with the corporation's representatives, her voice steady and her arguments persuasive. She knew that they would have to be firm but fair if they were to expose GalactiCorp's actions and hold them accountable. As the crew of the Stellar Phoenix delved deeper into GalactiCorp's operations, they uncovered a web of deceit and corruption that stretched across the galaxy. The corporation had been exploiting resources and endangering lives in their relentless pursuit of profit, and they had gone to great lengths to cover up their actions. Ilara's heart ached as she realized the extent of the damage that GalactiCorp had caused. She knew that they had to expose the truth and bring those responsible to justice no matter the cost. With the help of her crew, Ilara gathered evidence and testimonies that would be crucial in building a case against GalactiCorp. They worked tirelessly, their determination unwavering as they fought against the corporation's attempts to silence them. The crew of the Stellar Phoenix knew that their battle for justice would not be an easy one. GalactiCorp was a powerful and influential corporation, and they would stop at nothing to protect their interests. But the crew was not deterred, their resolve strengthening with each passing day. As they prepared to present their case to the galactic authorities, they were met with resistance from GalactiCorp's legal team. The corporation's lawyers were ruthless and cunning, their arguments designed to cast doubt on the crew's evidence and testimonies. But the crew of the Stellar Phoenix was not easily swayed. They stood their ground, their voices steady and their arguments persuasive as they fought for justice. They knew that they were not just fighting for themselves, but for all those who had been affected by GalactiCorp's actions. After a long and grueling battle, the crew of the Stellar Phoenix emerged victorious. GalactiCorp was held accountable for their actions, and those responsible were brought to justice. The corporation was forced to pay reparations to those affected by their negligence, and they were barred from operating in the asteroid field ever again. The crew celebrated their victory, their hearts filled with pride and satisfaction. They knew that they had made a difference, and that their actions had helped to bring about a brighter future for all. As the Stellar Phoenix soared through the cosmos, the crew looked out at the stars, their minds filled with thoughts of the adventures that lay ahead. They knew that their journey was far from over, and that there were still many challenges and wonders to be discovered in the vast expanse of space. But they were ready for whatever came their way, their determination and ingenuity a beacon of hope in the darkness of the cosmos. Together, they would continue to explore the galaxy, their spirits unbroken and their hearts filled with the knowledge that they had made a difference.